Here with UTSA Athletic Director Lisa Campos at Media Day for American Conference. Lisa, second year in the league. Just what are the overall vibes, I guess, of the department headed into this football season?
Yeah, well, first of all, we had an incredible first year in the American. I mean, our coaches didn't quite know what to expect, maybe, and I think we've exceeded expectations in so many different ways. We've had the new commissioner, Tim Pernetti, on campus twice already now, and when he's looked at our facilities, particularly our broadcast, like he is just he's surprised that we have that and how we've done it at the level we've done it. So, between the competitiveness to just getting to know the league, it's been an incredible first year, and looking forward, we're excited. It's what do we do last year, and how can we make that better this year?
I want to ask you about the growth of the program. It's been exponential in your tenure the last 6 years. How do you explain that? Like, is it just the jump to the American, or just kind of a culmination of things?
Yeah, you know what? It started with previous administration, obviously building that foundation, having a vision to have football, what that would do. And then it's total alignment. I tell people all the time, I took this job to work for Dr. Amy because I could see his vision. When I met with him, the support I knew he was going to give to athletics, and that's all come true. And so there's just great alignment between president, AD, and coaches and what our vision is. And then we were positioning ourselves, many years ago, that it's not, and even today, it's not a matter of when, or it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Realignment is always happening. So how do we best position ourselves now for when that opportunity presents itself? And we did that, and we had great success, and but it's been a lot of, and not just Dr. Amy. I mean, Veronica Salazar and her team have really, he's made it a priority, but other administrators, Heather Shipley, our provost, and her team, they have helped us in tremendous ways to get us to where we are now.
You guys have been pretty active with trying to push the facilities upgrades. There's different things in the works. It seems like every year you're announcing something and you're doing something. It's always to people who want more, they always going to want more. But I think if you take a look back, it's kind of like, hey, you could really see how much has changed. What have been some of the challenges of that? I mean, obviously the financial aspect of running the athletic department through COVID and budget crunches and trying to get those donations. But I guess, how do you envision overcoming some of those in the future, some of those challenges?
I think that the challenge is time, right? People don't understand it takes time. You think about the race facility and even the practice facility. We've been talking about that for a long time, but to get the finances, to your point, to get the donations, but then just even plan it. You're in the business, you understand. I mean, there is a process from figuring out where every light bulb is going to be and every plug is going to be in that building. It's a process. And so that's, but during that process, it's getting people really excited about it. And to those who, want more, then there's opportunity. In softball, baseball, we're fundraising to make those facilities even better. We need to do something with tennis eventually. Obviously, we want to do the pavilion for football, and it's going to take all of us to get those facilities accomplished.
I think the basketball, volleyball is kind of the next thing hoping to break ground this year
absolutely.
Or next year.
Early January. They finally got me to stop saying December. I just want it done in 2023. I've conceded
it's going to be
all right. Me and you will just do it in December and say it happened in December. So January, we're supposed to be breaking ground, and things are moving along really well with that project. And so that is our next big project.
Is that going to be the complete project, or are you guys going to have to phase that?
Nope, it'll be the complete project. So it's going to house men's and women's basketball, volleyball, obviously the courts, the locker rooms, the meeting space, coaches' offices. We're going to have a not a studio, but like an area for our student athletes to build their brand. So a lot of different components in that building.
And I don't think people realize it's right next to the race. So like those students they already use the race kind of. So they're already there. So that'll really actually be the hub of the athletics.
It is, yes, absolutely. It's going to be, we're hoping it's going to be attached by a walkway bridge. And that, it's going to be the hub of UTSA athletics.
That's great. What I know that one hasn't even kicked off yet, and it's kind of a odd question to ask what's next. But is there any priority on what happens? Like you mentioned, softball,
Yeah.
tennis, other
Yeah,
items.
so the next program, or the next projects we're looking at is 4 projects really. Baseball and softball, we have to do something for those projects. Obviously, we updated the stands a little bit this year, but we want to take a focus on our student athletes and build player development areas in both of those. So we're already starting the design phase on that. We got to do some fundraising, but those are really the projects that we've already secured some dollars to get the architects on board. And then we want to do a training table. We know nutrition is so important. We want to bring, I say a training table, it's a nutrition center, and have that on campus. And then, of course, the pavilion's still out there that we need to find someone who's really committed to that to help us get that through the finish line.
Where does a basketball playing facility or volleyball playing facility fall? Because that's obviously like a huge price tag, and it's kind of something out there that's like, is there potential for a partnership somewhere else off campus, or doing something existing, or is there even a discussion about
Absolutely.
that?
We're always talking about how do we get the arena completed, and is that going to be through public-private partnership? Is that going to be, like you said, there's a lot of different options out there that we continue to explore, and it does have a big price tag, so we got to figure that part of it. So that's a little bit more down the road.
Right.
We really want to focus on the 4 projects I just talked about, but that's definitely something on our mind.
That's awesome. Switching to football, I feel like the Roadrunners are going to be like a trendy pick to kind of be in the mix for college football playoff this year. Do you think that's kind of shared inside the athletic department?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm always going to put my money on Jeff Traylor and the American, and this is one of the reasons why we were really positioning ourselves to get to the American, right? What is it, 7 out of the 9 or 10 years this has been the conference champion of this league, has been the highest ranked champion, right? And so there's no reason why that can't continue. And we got to win games, we got to win championships. I know that's a lot of pressure on Coach Traylor, but we do that with the city of San Antonio, coming to games, buying season tickets, buying individual game tickets, and really helping with NIL and all those sorts of things. But it's a true possibility.
The support of the conference so far feels like it's been, not to say anything about the previous conferences, but it's just different. Like it feels bigger, it feels more of an investment. I know you guys have made an investment with some of the technology with broadcasting, and just some of the way the Roadrunners are showcased feels a lot more out there than ever before. Is that kind of one of the benefits of this conference?
Yeah, you know what, when we position ourselves to get into the American, we also made a commitment that we are going to want to compete at the highest level, and that takes having the broadcast rooms in the right way, hiring the right coaches, having the right facilities, getting the community on board. We have a great market in San Antonio, and how do we continue to build that brand? And so that was a commitment we made, and we're fulfilling that commitment day by day.
You don't have to tell me a number, but just how would you think the season ticket football number is looking this year?
JJ, I'm never satisfied, so we gotta sell more. It's never, we always want to surpass the year before's numbers, and again, there's no reason why we shouldn't do that, but we're continuing. It's hard work though. You ask all of our ticket sellers, and we're engaging the fans. Brad had at an event the other night, engaging fans to go help us sell tickets and kind of have some competition amongst fans. So it's never easy, but it's something that should be possible.
Has there been a shift, or maybe it's just times are different? It seems like the athletic department is more, not open, but more kind of out there with trying to push things this off season to try and either boost attendance, boost, donations, just trying to get more engaged. Is that something that's like was that like a change from before, or is that something that's just always been there and it's just maybe more noticeable this time around?
Yeah, I think where we've made big investments is in our creative department, so they've been able to have more, that collateral out there, showcase us more, and we heard that from coaches, and we made those investments there. And you think about it, Not to bring up COVID a lot, but we're 4 years past it, right?
Yeah.
And so those first year in 2020, we didn't
You
even know
were
if
all
we were
recovering.
Yeah. And then we get into 21, and now we're building that all back up. So it's always been our strategic plan, but now we've had some consistent folks and some really creative individuals, and we've made investments in those areas.
I know you guys have gotten a ton of support from local government, just trying to get the name out there, and then just like financial support for some of these facilities. Are you okay with like the balance you get from, I guess, donations and city support, or is there one area you'd like to see more, or how do you kind of attack that?
Yeah, we are so incredibly grateful to the city and to the county and to the citizens of Bexar County and citizens of San Antonio that they've invested in us, and they see an investment in UTSA is an investment in San Antonio and vice versa. And so to build these facilities, and we're bringing more youth on campus, and we're bringing more events, and so that's been really fun, and we can't do it without them. I think we always talk about in the state of Texas, we have such limited access to certain dollars that it's going to take those partnerships. And then on the flip side of that, to your point, it's going to take the donation side of it too. And, I think people get nervous when they see or they think it's unattainable when they see $1 million donation by one individual. They think, we will take a $50 donation, we will take a $100 donation, and we'll take $1 million donation, because all of it is moving us forward.
Yeah. Do you think, talking about NIL and then donations, right? Because they're not together, but they can be. Like, how do you kind of tackle that? It feels like the administration has been more open to NIL.
For sure.
And I know it's changed, and there's different rules and laws that I don't know about, but like, kind of what's your thinking around NIL and donations and all that?
Well, we adopted it early. I think people forget how we were the very first school in the league who adopted it and said, here's what we can do, and we're going to do all of it. What I think people didn't see was how we were collaborating with the collectives, which wasn't permissible.
Public knowledge,
by the law, by NCAA. And fast forward 3 years, now the law and NCAA have seen the practical use of this, and are saying, schools should be able to be more involved. And so that's what you're seeing a product of, is that now, the handcuffs have kind of been taken off, and it's still not at the level of involvement we want. There's still some hurdles we have to, collectives have to jump, and vice versa. But it has opened up, and it's just like this sigh of relief. Like, now I feel like I can actually talk about collectives, and I can be a part of it, and we can collaborate so much more.
What's the how is your guys' budget looking? Is it still looking at like the $50 million mark? And then just like, what are the challenges not too long ago it was around 30, and now it's, obviously that's a huge increase. And like, what are the challenges with that?
Yeah, if we want to compete in this league, we have to continue growing the budget. If we think about being, really, really competitive, it's going to take more than $50 million, and we realize that. But we also realize it's not going to happen overnight. And so, again, it's going to continue to be through ticket sales, through donations, through any of, just brand recognition that we're going to have to continue getting into CFP playoff, all of those things that we're going to have to find ways to continue building our budget if we want to be continue to be competitive in this league. So that's a huge focus. And then, of course, as NCAA is shifting, what does that mean, and how much more of our revenues do we need to continue moving forward?
Awesome. Well, that's all the questions I had. I do appreciate your time.
Thank you, JJ.
All right. Thanks, Lisa.
Thanks. Take care.